What's going on, guys? Welcome into the Bulls Report. My name is Patrick Siepman. Coming up on today's show, wanted to give you guys the latest injury news around your Chicago Bulls ahead of the Bulls-Hawks matchup this Wednesday. And then also, how can Chicago get a victory versus Atlanta? I got 5 keys to victory that will help the Bulls hopefully advance in this play-in tournament. But before we dive into that, guys, let's get the good vibes going. Get the good mojo out there for our basketball team. And if you want the Bulls to beat the Atlanta Hawks, drop a like on today's show, and let's dive into it. So we got injury news on Andre Drummond, Ayo Dosunmu, and Alex Caruso, as those guys have been the 3 players for Chicago that have been banged up over the last couple of weeks. We obviously know Andre Drummond, he hurt his ankle following the famous double dunk attempt by Torrey Craig, still one of the worst basketball plays I have ever seen, but let's just dive into him first. So he did not play yesterday, Sunday, versus the New York Knicks, still dealing with that ankle, and they didn't come out and say if it was a full sprain yet, it's just a tweaked ankle, but when the play went down and when it happened, I mean, his ankle bone damn near hit the hardwood of the basketball floor, so it's definitely not looking too good for Drummond in terms of him playing this Wednesday, but there's no doubt the Bulls are going to need him because his stats versus the Hawks this season are just absolutely tremendous. He did have his famous 24 points, 25 rebound game against Atlanta early on this year, but in 3 games played, averaging almost 15 points a night, 18 rebounds per game, averaging a block and an assist in every contest this year versus Atlanta. And the Bulls need Andre Drummond back. Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, you cannot run your center rotation and honestly your 4 and 5 man rotation with just Nikola Vucevic. Bulls need Drummond back just to add that physicality, add that just physical presence to the front court because Atlanta, they're rolling out Clint Capella. He's going to cause issues for Vooch, and I would almost prefer Drummond matching up with Capella in comparison to Vooch, and the numbers don't lie. I mean, Drummond's been absolutely dominating him this season. And also this, Ayo Dosunmu, he did not play yesterday as well, still dealing with that quad injury that he actually suffered previously against the New York Knicks. But he did not play yesterday, still dealing with that. And in terms of Ayo Dosunmu versus Trae Young, I mean, he is damn near Trae Young's kryptonite. Every single matchup this season where Ayo has gone head-to-head against Trae Young, he has just flat-out outplayed him. Taking a look at Trae Young's stats in the 2 games this year that he did play against the Chicago Bulls, 19 points in the first contest, did have great assist numbers. I mean, 14 assists and 13 assists in both of the contests. But look at the efficiency. Look at the shooting splits. 3 of 14 in the first game, 6 of 17 in the second game, and then also from downtown, 2 of 10, 3 of 13. I just think Ayo is just a tough matchup for Trae Young. Very physical at the point of attack, super long arms. I mean, people forget Ayo is a legit 6'5" with a 6'9" wingspan. I mean, he can really get after it at that top of the key defensive position. So I think Trae Young, if he's going to want to, be slowed down in this matchup, hopefully Ayo Dosunmu's ready to go. But a player that I do think will be ready to go is Alex Caruso, as he was back yesterday versus the New York Knicks. Has been dealing with that ankle injury, as we know, over the past couple of weeks. But, hey, I mean, Ayo Dosunmu and Alex Caruso, the Bulls are going to need both those guys because if there's one kind of main positive of this Hawks team, it's that backcourt, man, featuring Dejounte Murray and Trae Young. Do I think they personally complement each other very, very well? No, not really, but they're both tremendously talented guards, and the Bulls are going to need Caruso and Ayo to just keep them in front and just not let the defense just constantly get in rotation, which these 2 players do so very well. But I do want to look back real quick, just a quick little tidbit on today's show. So this was the Bulls' record over the past 9 seasons. And it is just incredibly disappointing. I mean, dating back to the 2015 season, you're around 500. 2016, around 500. And then you were terrible for 3 straight years in 2017, 2018, and 2019. And you may be saying, oh, the Bulls probably got a ton of good draft picks, probably was able to rebuild during that 3-year stretch. No, couldn't be farther from the truth. 2020, still 31 wins. 2021, 46 wins. Great year, started off the year hot, but then Lonzo went hurt, and then that season went to shit. And then also 2022, around 500. 2023, around 500. And it just gets me to this question, is it another wasted year for the Bulls? And I don't necessarily think it's a complete waste just yet. But I've seen a lot of fans on social media, seen a lot of Bulls fans putting the argument out there, should the Bulls just lose? Should they just go get that lottery pick and not even try to win this play-in game for the Hawks? I completely disagree, and for 2 reasons. I think, number one, just the experience that Coby White and Ayo Dosunmu that they could get in a playoff series versus the Boston Celtics, where it's going game to game, playing against one of the best teams that we have seen in the regular season over the past couple of years. I would want that experience so much for those guys because we can talk about regular season experience. We can talk about, play-in tournament experience, but there's nothing like playing playoff basketball and to have those two guys just get those reps. I think it could be huge. And then also this draft class, it's just historically bad. I mean, the Bulls would be picking in that 10 to 15 spot. I would want them to get Donovan clinging, but he's probably going to go top 7. So I am all in on the Bulls winning just for the experience that they could get versus the Boston Celtics in round 1. But speaking about the first play-in game here, Chicago versus Atlanta, what is the biggest X factor for the Chicago Bulls versus the Atlanta Hawks? I'm going to get into some keys to victory here in a second, but what is your biggest X factor for Chicago versus Atlanta? I think it's Ayo Dosunmu. That's who I would be typing down below in the comments section. But coming up next on today's show, I got 5 keys to victory, how Chicago can get that win versus the Atlanta Hawks, coming to you guys just around the corner. But first, I want to give a big-time shout-out to today's sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. If you guys download the Prize Picks app, and when you're making your first deposit, if you guys use promo code CLNS, we're going to match it up to $100. What is Prize Picks? It's daily fantasy sports made easy. And how do you play? You pick 2 or more players, and then you can choose more than or less than on their stat projections. And with the NBA play-in tournament getting going tomorrow night, the Lakers versus the Pelicans, make sure you guys download the app today and get hooked up on the fun. It is my favorite app I have on my phone. And even if a game, maybe it's not that entertaining to you, or maybe it's a blowout in the fourth quarter, it is still entertaining just because of Prize Picks. You can follow your lineup throughout the entire game. I absolutely love it, and you guys will too. So make sure you guys do download the app, prizepicks.com/CLNS, and use promo code CLNS to get your first deposit matched all the way up to $100. Get hooked up today. You guys won't regret it. Link for that is in the comments section and description of today's show. So my number 1 key to victory for the Chicago Bulls, keep Atlanta in front. Keep those guards, Dejounte Murray, Trae Young, from creating dribble penetration and getting guys like, DeAndre Hunter open looks. I don't think this is a guy where he can just flat out kill you by playing ISO basketball. But if you get in rotation and Trae Young and Dejounte Murray are just consistently beating you off the dribble, getting this guy open corner 3 shots could kill the Bulls because, hey, let's be honest, the Bulls 3 and 4 spot, not that talented. Don't really have too many, good players at those positions. And a guy like Hunter and also Bogdanovic, they could kill you. But are they going to kill you playing one-on-one basketball? No. But if you get in rotation and Trae Young and Dejounte Murray just constantly making moves, beating Ayo Dosunmu and Alex Caruso off the dribble, Bulls could definitely get in some trouble. Number 2 for me, let DeMar DeRozan finish. And I got to admit, guys, this is one of my worst takes of the year. About midway through the season, when DeMar was having trouble closing a couple of these basketball games, I said, I want the ball in Coby White's hands late in the fourth quarter. I'll tell you what, that was terrible. That was a bad take by me because DeMar DeRozan has been one of the most clutch players in the NBA this entire season. Right now, he is second, according to the bookmakers out west, to win the Clutch Player of the Year award, only behind Steph Curry. But I think he should get it because countless games this season, DeMar, he gets to his mid-range spot. It's either pump fake, or he rises up, and he's able to get just a really good look for himself, hence why he's had, honestly, one of his best years of his career. With all the injuries, with all the drama around the Bulls, he has just been steady, averaging 24 points a night, 4.3 rebounds, and also sneaky, underrated playmaker we have in the NBA, averaging 5.3 assists. Number 3 for me, it's got to happen. If the Bulls want to win, this has to happen. You got to get a good Nikola Vucevic game. He is the biggest roller coaster player I have possibly seen in my whole life watching the National Basketball Association. I mean, Vooch is just one of those guys where it's like he's having a great game here, then the next game he is terrible, and we've seen it over the past couple of weeks. That game against the Magic about a week ago, he was awful, 2 points, 7 rebounds. But then you look at him yesterday versus the New York Knicks, he was great, hitting that push shot, beating bigs off the dribble, which I think could also be a sneaky X factor. If they're running that pick and pop game, and maybe Vooch knocks down his first or 2 open threes, he can beat Clint Capella off the dribble if he's closing out to him late. You saw him do that yesterday against Mitchell Robinson. So Vooch, let's just have a good game and don't have a 2.7 rebound night, which you have shown to do countless times this season. But number 4 for me, the Bulls are going to have to be the grittier team. They're going to have to get the hustle points. They're going to have to do all the little things that kind of push you across the finish line and get you better on the margins if they want to beat Atlanta. And the guy I think about the most is Alex Caruso. Ayo Dosunmu, Torrey Craig. Like, those guys are going to need to step up. And I don't want to, like, call out somebody, be like, yo, you got to play hard, Wednesday night, because you obviously know Caruso is going to bring it all, against the Atlanta Hawks. But make those hustle plays, win those 50-50 balls. Those are the plays where if the Bulls really are, want to beat Atlanta and go take on Philly or Miami, going to have to beat them on the margins. A guy like Caruso does that better than anybody. Now, number 5 for me. What if Coby White just has a masterclass? This is his first year and his kind of breakout of his NBA career. Averaging 20 points a night, just absolutely playing his ass off. What if he just goes and has a game? What if he has a 35-point outburst like maybe Zach LaVine did last year in Toronto? And, Coby White, he's just been tremendous this whole season. Another big reason why I do really want the Bulls to win this play-in tournament, just to see how he would fare against the Boston Celtics in a 7-game series. By no means do I actually think the Bulls could maybe even win one game versus Boston. But the experience, just give me one game where it's, 5 minutes left, 5-point game, and it's Bulls Celtics in game 1 or 2, just to get that kid those reps. I think it could be actually absolutely fantastic for his development. And also, I didn't throw this out there as my keys to victory. What if we get DeMar DeRozan's daughter back in the stands and she can be screeching in Hawks players' ears at the free throw line, reminiscent of what she did last year versus the Toronto Raptors? But hey, if you guys want the Bulls to beat the Hawks, give me a C-Red down in the comments section. I want to see it flood down there in the chat. So if you guys want Chicago to get the victory, give me a C-Red. And as always, guys, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We'll be going live 30 minutes before tip-off this Wednesday, live play-by-play, having a couple drinks. It's going to be a ton of fun, so make sure you guys do tune in. See y'all next time. Go Bulls.